So Netflix have, once again, gotten their mitts on yet another beloved manga series with the intention of turning it into a live action, and looking at the trailer, I have a lot to say about it. So I'm going through this video on the assumption that they would be going one-to-one with the manga. They are obviously changing the story, and I recognize that, but that doesn't excuse anything, and I'm going to rip it apart regardless. That being said, do not hate the actors. They are just that, the actors. They likely had very little to no say on themselves, the story, the characters. It is not their fault, regardless of the acting, regardless of the script, regardless of the character. Secondly, the series is obviously meant to be more detached from the actual manga, despite saying it's inspired or based on it. But, like I mentioned before, my comparisons and ranting will be based around the idea that it's meant to be a one-to-one representation. Everything that I will be talking about and going on the personalities and plot points of the manga will be right up until and around the presidential election and doesn't go too far into the spoilers thereafter. Let's go.
My name is Yumiko, and I've been bad.
What? Okay, so there's fire in her eyes instead of her eyes glowing like red when her gambling demon is acting up. And honestly, this would be a really cool look if it didn't look as though I pulled it from my fire.gif stash.
But sometimes you have to do a bad thing to make the world better.
Yumiko's whole thing was just that she really likes gambling. And I don't think there's ever a point that she specifically wanted to make the world better. I mean, she has morals, absolutely. She dislikes the pet system and things like that. But overall, the majority of her motives were, in fact, to get off in having a good time in gambling. She enjoys the thrill. She doesn't give a fuck about wanting to make the world better.
This should be fun.
Don't make me laugh.
St. Dominic's Prep goes back 100 years.
Okay, so the localized name for Hyako Private Academy is St. Dominic's Prep. Whether this is a pun for the word dom, as in dominating, or they wanted something that sounds relatively posh, we'll never know. That being said, I can understand why the name was localized, so I won't hate on this one too much. Also, it was 122 years and not 100. Get it right.
Parents send their kids here to learn what it takes to run the world.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hell yeah, they got something right. You go, my guy. Also, this guy that's currently talking, this looks like it's our version of Ryota Suzui, who looks like they were renamed to Ryan by the look of the official credits. I haven't seen enough of the acting for him to make an opinion on if he actually fits the role, and I can only hope he has a similar role as the Japanese live action, because honestly, I love Takazuki's performance. You can't beat that.
CEOs.
All right, we're going to take a look at this lineup, and you're going to be patient because this is going to take a long time, and I'm very sorry. So, on the far left, on that side, that is obviously Mary, Saotome Mary on the left. I don't know why the fuck she is even there. She is not part of the student council. Maybe they wanted to have her cameo in the trailer, but there is much better ways to do that than having her appear alongside the student council. And also, it's actually an entire plot point, just in case you're curious, that she specifically keeps declining to join the student council. She hates them. She doesn't like them. On the topic of how she looks, it's interesting that because of how much I watched the Japanese live action, I actually clocked her almost instantly just because of the hairstyle. She's got the I look down on you kind of thing down, so I really want to see more of her. I kind of disagree that she has dark hair. That being said, though, the Japanese live action also had her with brown hair, so really, I haven't really got a kind of a foot to stand on, I think. But overall, though, interesting to see where she's, how she's going to turn out. Going from left to right, next to Mary, we have what I believe is the Student Council Vice President Ririka Momobami. Apparently, in this version, she is named Riri in the remake. Get it? Okay, I'm going to start by saying Rurika, hands down, my favorite character in all of Kakegurui, and I apologize to, I believe her name is Anwen, profusely for the intense breakdown that I'm going to give this character. I'm so sorry in advance. So first off, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the mask. I love the idea behind having the half mask. I get where they're coming from, and it's really cool, but there is like a million plot points behind Rurika wearing her mask. First of all, it's about her shyness and social awkwardness, although, to be fair, it's not really revealed until pretty pretty far into the manga during Kakegurui XX during the presidential election arc of the story. That's kind of far in there, but still doesn't excuse the fact that it is a plot point. Secondly, it's due to the connection between her and her sister Kirari. It's revealed, spoiler alert, that she wears the mask to hide that she is, for all intents and purposes, a one-to-one twin of Kirari. Some would even say a clone. There is a whole lot more of the story to delve into, but I'll try not to go into it too much because one, it's major spoilers, and two, it doesn't really matter at this point. She reveals herself due to her upbringing. She truly, for a time, believed that she was nothing more than an extension of Kirari, and the inability for people to tell them apart, and this revelation as a whole, was shown to the audience relatively early in the story when she leaves the academy to attend a family meeting posing as Kirari, and vice versa, Kirari poses as Ririka in a gambling event, revealing herself only when Kaede demands that only the president can change the gambling rules. That's a lot to take in, but this opens up a new point of contention: the look. Riri looks nothing like Kirari, who in this version is named Kira. If you look at the two, it is the person right next to her in the middle. These two look nothing alike. They are meant to be twins. They are meant to be two people that, if they both have their hair the way that they're supposed to, you cannot tell them apart. Riri's hair is brown. Their stature is vastly different. One is obviously taller than the other. It's incredibly easy to tell the two apart. Their facial structure is different. I'm pretty sure their eye color is different, their makeup, look, everything is different about them. It's not Kirari and Ririka. I can only assume that they're either dropping the twin sister storyline or they overlooked it and they're gonna try and fix it in post, but I'm really not sure how they're gonna do that. Next to Riri, but behind her, who could be potentially an unimportant character, but I would love to guess that it's intending to be Sayaka, or that could be the one behind the guy on the right. I have no idea. Either way, we don't see Sayaka in this, and that is really interesting to me. That being said, we also don't see Kaede, we also don't see Nishinotoin, so that's gonna be fun. In the middle is the woman herself, Kirari Momobami, known as Kira in this version and played by Clara Alexandrova. I really don't like this portrayal of her. Nothing against the actress, naturally, but whatever direction she was given, she obviously did the best that she could. She did her best to have the aloof kind of attitude, but that is not everything that Kirari is. First of all, the hair, obviously not the actress's fault, but the hair. Kirari's bright white hair was a staple of the character. In fact, it's in stark comparison to Yumiko with her long black hair. The blue lips kind of look completely out of place with her black hair, and it doesn't kind of complete the look. She also, as I've mentioned before, doesn't match Riri at all. The character, unfortunately, gives off less of a prestigious, presidential, my family will, can, and probably does own your family feeling, and more of a you can't sit with us kind of feeling, and it's not a good one. To the right, we can see the eye patch of Ikishima Midari. Apparently she's known as Dory in this version, although I suppose they did try to stick to the name. I can't tell whether I would have been more or less upset if they just threw it out and went with Daniela. It's clear that they tried to match the eye patch, but they kind of forgot that the eye patch isn't a fashion statement, but it's an actual medical wound from when she stabbed her own eye out to try and appease Kirari after losing and becoming a house pet. Either way, she doesn't scare me, and she's supposed to. And on the far right, we have So, okay, at first I thought this was Kaede, and then I maybe thought maybe it's Nishinotoin. But after I had a read of an article, this is Ryan Sutherland, and it looks like they play the character Suki. So while I was looking through the names, because the names match the characters that they were meant to be from the manga, and what it seems like is the only name that matches is Itsuki Sumuragi, the nails girl. The girl who gambles to acquire people's nails. Yeah, you heard me. So I'm going to be going over this as if he's Sumuragi, but if he doesn't, then I don't know, don't come after me. So they could be going for a non-binary type of role for Sumuragi, but I'm still, sinning it, for lack of a better word, the entire character. Sumuragi, or I guess Suki, is the daughter of a very well-known toy maker and an incredible gambler who is well known for gambling specifically to acquire people's entire nails. The look that they have given Suki here is confusing, and it doesn't give off any kind of vibe of the character at all. If anything, it feels like an OC that they've thrown in rather than a a rewrite of an existing character. The getup screams, fashionista, if you want to call it that. And yeah, I've got nothing. And also, this entire student council, apart from Riri, would be reamed for this completely off the books uniform. If this is meant to be Sumeragi, this ain't Sumeragi. Sorry, Ryan. I'm sure you did your best. An additional point is the black and red uniforms. We've already seen that they both have and do wear the actual uniform as detailed in the manga and the anime with the whole, red and the black trim, that kind of thing. So why is theirs different? And also, not just different, but none of them are wearing the same style. Like, I know in some schools, some of them have jumpers, some of you have t-shirts and that kind of thing, but Riri and Kira are wearing two different types of blazers. I don't know what the hell is going on with Suki's shirt, and by the look of things, Mary's, if she even is apparently part of the student council, doesn't even have a red trim. So I don't even know what is going on there. I assume that the different color scheme is to show that they're a student council, but the only one that actually feels like a member is Riri, and that's just because she actually tied up her everything. Also, Mary is wearing a black one too. Is this before she became a house pet? Who knows?
Those dictators.
Why are you showing Riri when you say dictators? Like, show Kira. Riri's the last person to show as a dictator unless, and this is the benefit of the doubt, unless this is a hint to when Kira or Kirari in the manga poses as Ririka and vice versa. But I already ranted about this, so we're gonna move on before I start again.
Crime lords.
It's a little foam eye patch, like a teeny tiny little plastic knife. Come on. Where's her gun, man? Come on.
It's not the classes that change you. It's the gambling.
Ryota, named Ryan in this version, seems to fit the role well so far of what we've seen. I enjoy the portrayal so far, but like I mentioned, I'm very curious if they're going to go the same way as the Japanese live action, or if they're going to stick to the manga. So far, it kind of seems more like the manga, where he's being Yumiko's guide rather than anything else. But also, he's wearing the house pet necklace, and it actually says house pet in English on it. Okay, who the hell are you? It says Michael in the credits, and I saw, but I couldn't find any names of potential characters that match their naming conventions. I mean, an argument could be made that it's Manu de Kaede, and it could be renamed to Michael, but he doesn't fraternize with Yumiko at all until very, very far in. We see him a few times in the photos from various articles hanging around Yumiko, so I'm curious who he's meant to be.
Your winnings are everything.
Okay, I like that shot because for once it actually has Kirari on her pedestal. She's looking out over the school, her territory.
Top 10 get into student council.
Okay, once again, we know the front three, but there's a girl in the back left that could be Sayaka. There's also another guy in the back left as well, like the further back left. That could be Kaede, although he doesn't seem to have glasses, or maybe I'm looking at that wrong. There also doesn't seem to be a Nishinotoin anywhere. We haven't seen any of these people currently. Also, if the front right person is meant to be Sumeragi, why are they getting so much screen time as part of the student council when in the manga and in the anime and in the live action, they're a part of the student council for roughly around 20 minutes screen time. Maybe the guy in the back left is Kaede, but he's a pretty prominent character since he has a whole I'm going to be the student council president, you have to walk the high road kind of line. So where the fuck is he if it isn't him?
They play like assassins.
So, according to the articles, this guy right here is Chad. I don't know who the fuck Chad is. They're pretty buddy-buddy with Dory somehow, but I couldn't find any names that might match. And also, why are they buddy-buddy with Dory? She doesn't like anyone. Also, that hiss was really, it was kind of cringe.
Teachers and students vanish.
What? So why does the whole house pet system exist if they're gonna replace that underlying story with whatever the fuck this horror mystery is?
Dead, alive.
Okay, that was kind of cool.
Nobody knows.
Who are you? Why aren't you wearing a uniform? Who the fuck are you meant to be? Are you a teacher? You don't look like a student. You don't look like a teacher. I don't know. Maybe, yeah.
That sounds fun.
She's insane.
So these two appear side by side again, and I have no idea why or who the other guy is meant to be. Obviously, the guy on the right saying she's incredible is Ryan, or Ryota Suzui, matching pretty well with the well-established crush that he has on Yumiko, but this brings me no further to figuring out who the guy on the left is except Michael. I really hope they're not going for some kind of love triangle thing, or if Mary is meant to be part of their group, if they're trying to go for the 2 girls, 2 boys type thing. I have no idea who the hell this could be.
My parents.
Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So, okay, props on them for keeping the Jamami name, but also, Jesus Christ, they've made it into a revenge thing instead of I love gambling. Also, there's no mention of her sister.
They went to St. Dominic's.
Who the fuck is Michael?
One of these people murdered them.
Who the fuck are them? Okay, so I've just noticed that they named the class houses after card suits, which insinuates that the writers don't realize that gambling wasn't even the main point of the school until Hirari came into power. And also, the guy on the right is wearing a house pet chain. And if you know anything about the manga, you know that anyone in the school would not be caught dead being near, never mind taking photos with a house pet. Also, going back to the Kirari thing, house pets weren't even a thing before she came into power. How old is this teenager that she made rules before she was even born? Okay, so I thought that this was Sayaka for some reason, but I think it's just showing Yumiko's anger, in which case, nope. Also L, lol.
And I'm gonna find out who.
Ah, we're back to the fire.gif. What the fuck is going on here? And why is Kirari even bothering to be on the same level as the commoners? Like, she should be on her chair or her throne or her couch or whatever she sits on. And also, why does she look so mean girl? Like, Kirari's whole thing is that she is so good at keeping a poker face. You never know what she is thinking. She could be pissed beyond measure and you will never know. So why is she suddenly grasping whatever the hell that is in her hand and looking really like mad? Like, no, she would be sitting on her throne with her legs crossed, kind of smirking and whatever. No one's gonna know what she's thinking until she's done the thing.
So you're some type of pro gambler, here to beat everyone and take their money.
No, not their money.
What? Okay, she looks really cute and like super badass here. That's kind of adorable and I really like it.
Royal Flush! Blackjack! Bingo!
Okay, I actually adored that entire setup. That was very Yumiko. I very much like it. This actress, she knows what she's doing. They've obviously been given good direction for Yumiko. 10 out of 10. Why is... Okay, so I think it's Dori throwing a knife at Yumiko's picture, but Midori adores Yumiko. She's completely in love with Yumiko. So why would Dori throw a knife at her picture? All she wants is for Yumiko to talk to her. What the fuck?
In this world, you will where you are.
She didn't even lick the knife! Also, give me my foam knife back from that Ninja Gaiden cosplay I did when I was 10. Okay, so, first of all, why is Kirari using Mary as a footrest? That literally never happened, and if we really wanted to have a scene like that, then it could happen between Mary and Ryan, or Ryota. Also, you can see what looks like Runa sitting on the left there, but there's very little excitement from the usual Runa. There's also a thing at the end about a photo of a potential Runa that's circulating that I'll get into, but I think that this person sitting on Kirari's right side is Runa, and the one that we have seen circulating is incorrect.
At St. Dom's,
Okay, yeah, the house pet stuff, this is pretty on brand. What a waste of a good lime.
I make the rules.
So, Clara, the actress for Kirari, gets the calm, calculating voice of Kirari down pretty well. It doesn't change that she feels more like a cartoon villain instead of the domineering president of a school that can literally change the trajectory of your life.
We're just getting started.
What the fuck is going on here? And once again, why is Kirari not elevated for this instead of being around the peasants? Also, is the person in what looks like a little panda hoodie meant to be Runa? Because if so, then okay, yeah, 10 out of 10. Hell yeah. Wait, archery? How is archery gambling? What's even happening? Did I accidentally my way into the latest not high fantasy Ranger role auditions again? Yeah, I really don't know what to say about this. Okay, none of those guys seem to be wearing a house pet chain, which I can only assume means that this is some, I don't know, weird ritual for Ryota Ryan to go through and showing the bullying that house pets receive. What happened to Kira's jacket? Why does it look like she got it from fucking Claire's? Also, is this meant to be the scene where Sumeragi is removed from the student council? Because Kaede is the one that does that, citation needed, not Kirari, and it just looks kind of weird otherwise. So, okay, I struggled a lot with this part, and here's why. This could be a reference to multiple things. Either she is watching a fire happen. She has the eye fire that Yumiko has, which makes me angry that it's on Ririka for some reason. But if it's meant to be the demon fire thing that they're replacing colored eyes with, then why is it not blue? Also, that eyeliner is like so on point. Can you teach me how to do that, please? So, by the look of things, I believe that this is the board that the life and death game was played against Nishinotoin. It could also be a roulette board, but I'm very certain that this is the life and death board. But if it is the life and death board, why is it in public? And why does the person opposite her not seem to resemble Nishinotoin in any way? So, there's a couple of images circling that Runa, the adorable mascot-themed character in the student council, is this character here on the third left, named Rex, played by Rami Khan. I don't know whether that's true or not. It does seem like it, but I'm confused why such a standout character like Runa would have been changed so much. So much so that they're now a dude and they only have a cute hat. That being said, I think that this is just a red herring, and that the person that I called out as Runa before is probably Runa, the one that's sitting down, the one that's in the panda onesie. Alongside this, we don't seem to see Sayaka, we don't see Manyu de Kaede, and we don't see Nishinotoin. And they are incredibly important plot characters, and I have to wonder why they're not included. We also don't see Yumamita Yumami in this, but that also could be because her introduction happens a little bit later. And I'm also very curious in how they'll integrate an idol into a westernized story. They'll probably just make her a celebrity if they don't erase her entirely. There are a couple of good things that I do have to say about each actor. Miku Martineau, the actress for Yumiko, does seem to be incredible. She fits the role very well. She's obviously received either very good direction or she herself was a fan of Kakegurui. I haven't seen any of her stuff before, but she absolutely captures Yumiko's passion for gambling. I love the intensity of the actress Anwen O'Driscoll for Ruri, which I assume is the westernized Ririka Momobami. She captures, from what we've seen so far in the pictures in the trailer, the calm but intense demeanor required, and it's great acting on the part of the actress. This still doesn't excuse the lack of a full mask and the complete separation of her look from her twin sister Kirari. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed yourself, I would really appreciate it if you'd give me a like. If you really enjoyed yourself, I would appreciate your subscription. I also stream on Twitch on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays to do all kinds of gaming and all kinds of other content. So have a lot of fun, have a wonderful rest of your day, and have a great night.